Good morning, everyone. This is Mike at Lock in the Value. So, it is April 2020. I want to know what people's investment strategies are for April 2020. Now, I'm going to run over mine. This is not investment advice. This is just what I'm doing, but I'm curious to see what other people are doing. I look forward to seeing comments in the description. Now, um, in terms of how I'm proceeding at the moment, um, the crypto market is fairly stationary right now. It's fluctuating constantly between sort of 190 billion and 210 billion. It's not really moving beyond that right now. The question really is what happens if lockdown continues to be extended in countries? What happens when lockdown ends? You know, the reality is COVID-19 is going to have a major impact on a hell of a lot. And I don't know if we will ever be able to anticipate the extent of the impact. But here's my take on it. I think at the moment people are struggling. I think as a general rule, a lot of people are struggling. You know, a lot of people that are furloughed are getting 80% of their normal income. That's a big drop. Um, so investing is more difficult. Me personally, I've reduced my monthly investments by 50%. So I've halved my investments. And what I am doing at the moment um, is focusing on coins with dividends. So Neo, Ontology, KuCoin shares, um, a number of the coins that hold dividends are useful investments because obviously you accumulate whilst simply holding them or staking them in particular wallets. And that's a valid way to accumulate without having to spend necessarily too much. I feel that there's a lot of coins and cryptocurrencies out there that are undervalued, and I think the general consensus is in agreement with me there. But in terms of trying to see which one's going to have the next big pump, I think that's very difficult with the current environment. I personally am a big fan of Chainlink. I'm certain that that's going to end up being a massive cryptocurrency. I think it will be top five, and I don't think it will take that long. But right now, the question is how do you proceed? So I've halved all my monthly investments, and straight away they're going on things like Neo, Ontology, KuCoin shares, Binance. Just because I always want to hold Binance, to be perfectly honest. Um, VeChain. Um, I'm trying to stake as many as of the cryptocurrencies that I hold as possible, uh, purely so I get an accumulation that happens because obviously I'm purchasing less, so I'm accumulating less anyway. Um, One of my colleagues is reduced his down to 25%. He says that that's what he can afford to lose, and for God's sake, remember that your investments has got to be money that you can afford to lose. Um, but he's reduced it down to 25%, but his focus has been far more on trying to simply predict which cryptocurrencies are going to see big price move. He personally is going on Bitcoin. Bitcoin, I'm a little hesitant on, in that I'm not sure that the halving is going to result in the price surge that many are predicting. I think the market has sort of factored that in already. I don't, and my concern is that if mining reduces dramatically as well, because I think realistically, because of the price and the cost of mining it at the moment, it's already at a point where people are mining it at a loss. And if you're mining it at a loss, people will stop. And also, if you're mining it on the hope that it increases, that's a fairly scary thought in terms of the cost of doing that. So the question really is what are you guys doing? How are you planning to sort of for when lockdown ends, for when things begin returning to normal? How are you approaching this? See, I one thing I'm doing as well is posting on Publish OX. I'll put the link in the description. Publish OX, I'm a big fan of. It's a way to read more that's produced by the community. It's a way that you can earn through tipping. So even if you are tipping someone else, you can earn some cryptocurrency by tipping someone else. Obviously, if you produce your own work as well, you can earn tips for that. So it's a nice concept. It's very similar to Steam It in that sense. I like it, and I'm doing that, and I encourage anyone to do that really because it's a way to earn by and put back into the community. Because this community, what keeps this whole ecosystem going is the fact that the community is invested, and as the community grows, we will see hopefully bigger investments. I was talking about institutional investment the other day, um, and I believe over the next year or two, we're going to see far more of it. I think had this um, pandemic not happened, I think we would have seen a far greater amount of institutions investing. So I think it's slowed the market down in that regard. Um, but yeah, that's my take on everything at the moment is cautious optimism. Cautious optimism. So and buying cryptocurrencies that I know I can stake and accumulate fairly passively. So please write in the description. Tell me what you guys are doing. How are you? And do you plan on changing your method when lockdown ends? Like I say, I'm doing 50% right now. I think when lockdown ends, I'll probably jump up to 75% because my income will have increased again. Um, and maybe get back up to 100%, in June or July. But yeah, please, for those of you watching, please tell me what you guys are doing. I'm curious, and I think the more information we present to each other, the more we learn and the better we do, and that's what matters for all of us, isn't it? Um, I'm also curious, by the way, anyone that's listening, what's your take on Hex? Because there's been a lot of movement and there's a lot of articles out there for and against. So I want to see what people are thinking with that regard, and I'll tell you my thoughts in a day or two. All right, that was it from me. Take care and stay safe.